Hello, my name is Harzing and I'm a professor, research mentor and staff development lead at Middlesex University, London. Today I will be talking about how to support early and mid-career academics with collaborative and inclusive cultures. My presentation focuses on research cultures as that's where most of my experience in the last 30 years lies, but much of what I discuss today can be applied equally to other areas of academia. Now here's the argument in a nutshell. Starting with the core, I will discuss why people are simply everything in academia, why collaborative and inclusive cultures and communities are essential, and why we need to focus on early and mid-career academics. I will then discuss three challenges: mimicry versus distinctiveness, grand strategy versus granularity, and how to ensure sustainability. We will then finish up on a practical note, talking about what kind of leadership is needed to support early and mid-career academics. Okay, so the core is people, collaborative and inclusive cultures, and a focus on the next generation. What are the challenges that we are facing in our universities when we try to operationalize this? I've identified three: mimicry versus distinctiveness, grand strategy versus granularity, and ensuring sustainability through creating institutional memory and creating capacity by inspiring others. The first challenge for any university is whether to go for mimicry, so imitation of the top universities, or distinctiveness. The former is a route to failure as most simply don't have the resources to do so. And a large part of why elite institutions are elite is that their reputation has been built up over centuries. I won't deny that doing reasonably well on, for instance, publications and citations will help you to get noticed by building some league table reputation. At Middlesex University, for instance, we've risen in the international research rankings, such as the Times Higher Education ranking, for instance, where we're now ranked in the top 500, being close to top 400, from a position in the top 800 only 5 years ago. And this has certainly helped us being noticed by academics who would not normally consider working at a former polytech institution. But generally I would say distinctiveness is a much better route. Middlesex University is not a traditional research intensive university. We aim to be triple intensive instead, passionate about applied research, but also about educating our students to make a real world difference, and about external engagement with stakeholders. Our non-elite status is not without its challenges though. We do sometimes lose early career academics after they've built up a strong academic record, and our staff composition is also different than research intensive universities with far fewer professors. However, we have addressed this to some extent by giving junior academics more freedom to shape their own careers, and we've had several academics creating their own roles by demonstrating they excel in a particular area. More generally, I think that many non-elite institutions might have some advantages over elite institutions. I already mentioned more flexibility in job crafting. Non-elite institutions might be more willing to acknowledge that different colleagues simply have different skill sets. And non-elite institutions generally make less use of tenure tracks and give academics permanent jobs after only a short trial period, and this generally leads to more commitment to the institution. Secure employment also often leads to more collegiality because staff are not in competition with each other for a limited number of jobs. And most are also truly committed to social mobility for students and using their research to make a difference for those less fortunate in society. And given that many staff haven't had the advantage of a top-notch doctoral education, they also tend to be more appreciative of developmental activities. The second challenge is the tension between designing a grand strategy versus the need for granularity. Now, I've been in university management long enough to know that the devil is really in the detail, and that realizing a strategy comes down to consistent and tireless day-to-day activities. Strategies and action plans are often mere statement of intent, created to satisfy external demands most of all. And that's why I'm so happy with our new Middlesex strategy, whose tagline is knowledge into action. My own work at Middlesex was very much guided by an emergent, incremental and iterative type of strategy with really day-to-day practical on-the-ground support. Spent a lot of time experimenting with different approaches, and only then was I able to put together a coherent program and started filling the gaps. I will be taking you through this program in a whirlwind, but I'm more than happy to direct you to another presentation that I've done for research deans if you would like to know more about this. First, there's time and money. We have the normal support infrastructure that will look familiar to most of you. There are two new elements that were introduced 4 or 5 years ago by the current Deputy Dean Research and Knowledge Exchange, Stephen Syrat. There's research cluster leadership and internal research funding, and both are crucial in our guiding principle of supporting early and mid-career academics. Research cluster leadership allows these academics to build up leadership skills in an area they're really passionate about, and virtually all of our cluster leaders are senior lecturers. Internal research funding allows junior academics to do pilot studies or small-scale research projects that would not be fundable through external grants and build up their experience in writing grant applications. Second, we're running lots of formal workshops and training dealing with writing, research funding, external research impact, specific research method, but also providing training to help academics building up their research profile. Third, we run a whole series of informal meetings that all have the aim to diffuse information, get people together to talk about their research and its challenges, and at the same time build connections for collaborative research projects and funding applications. Fourth, we offer internal support that can be accessed on an individual basis, either because it's offered on the faculty's professional development gateway or through monthly research bulletins, or because it's offered in one-on-one sessions. And fifth, there's also external support that can be accessed individually. We are a member of Karma, LinkedIn Learning, and I provide lots of resources on my own website and YouTube channel, and these resources are also available outside Middlesex. Once you've set up a support structure, the next challenge is sustainability. Unless you ensure this, any structure runs the risk of crumbling when a few key individuals leave. So many of my current initiatives are explicitly directed at ensuring sustainability. First, this means we need to create institutional memory. I do this through circulating monthly research bulletins, creating an online portal, recording videos for one of the key initiatives I'm running, a writing bootcamp. I've also been running a blog since 2016 with weekly blogs on all things academia, and I've started a YouTube channel in 2020. Second, we need to build capacity by inspiring others. Currently, I'm very active in talent spotting, trying to identify who can take over my role when I'm no longer available, either alone or in team leadership. Many female academics prefer to share leadership roles in order to have a sounding board and create some redundancy. So here is what I've done in terms of creating institutional memory. First, the monthly bulletin. Second, the professional development gateway with 4 wonderlands, one-stop shops, networking and brokering resources, and official policies. It includes well over 500 documents, slideshows and videos. And as nearly all staff development now happens online, this portal also includes recordings of most of the training workshops that we're running, thus extending their research to those who have been unable to attend. Third, here are the bootcamp recordings that I referred to. They're also available outside Middlesex on my YouTube channel. And then fourth, on my website I also have blog posts for most of the CYGNA meetings that we have run in the past 8 years. And here are some examples of our recent meeting topics in the last couple of years. And fifth, here is my website, which includes a new aggregator page, Working in Academia, which is a portal to all sorts of resources, aiming to make working in academia a bit easier and more transparent for junior academics. And finally, here's my YouTube channel, which includes videos on many topics relating to academia. Now, after creating institutional memory, the second element of sustainability is to inspire others to take up leadership positions. And this also means to be willing to show your own vulnerability, because if you seem infallible as a leader, it may be hard to get others to give it a go. Our new Vice Chancellor, Nick Beach, who joined us just before the pandemic struck, is not only researching this, he's also practicing this. And he mentioned to me that he considers the myth of the super person in academia to be very damaging and thinks it's far more important to be human. He feels that vulnerability is often where real learning starts. I've never pretended to be a superwoman either. I don't hide my own failures, of which there have been many. A few months ago, I participated in the Inspiring Girls International Initiative by sharing my childhood ambitions and experiences. And in this, I really wanted to communicate 6 key things. That many academics are introverted and very shy and didn't feel they belonged when they were younger. That not everyone comes from a privileged family who have academic backgrounds. That the support or lack thereof that we have in our personal lives really impacts on our professional lives. That it's okay not to know what you want to do when you're younger. That not every PhD path is smooth. Mine certainly wasn't, and I almost didn't get one. Last and not least, that being different is good, not bad. And that you don't have to change to conform to what other people think you should be.